Greetings, comrades. I'm Bob Catton. I hope you can hear me over the waterfall behind me. I'm here in the Northwest Branch Park, the woods, the Northwest Branch of the Anacostia River. These are the woods that I grew up in and spent a lot of time walking as a small child. And it's funny, this is still pretty big, but it's funny how much bigger this seemed when I was very small. But even though the water line has changed from erosion and some of the old familiar trees are now rotting logs on the forest floor, this is still my woods, still my forest, and it feels very much like home. So come with me. So I wanted to talk to you. Whoop, I'll try not to fall. I wanted to talk to you about meditation and community defense. Two completely what seem like unrelated topics, but they're actually good close companions. And one, I think, couldn't be and should be an integral part of the other. Now, when I say meditation, I'm specifically referring to walking meditation. That is what I'm doing right now. Taking purposeful, slow steps down a path. Hope you can hear me over the wind. Down a path to nowhere in particular. You're not walking somewhere to get somewhere. You are walking somewhere to go. Now, when you think of meditation, you might, and very rightly so, think of someone sitting in silence, in stillness, inside a dojo, a school, building somewhere, or maybe in a place like this when the weather's really nice. Breathing in, whoop, breathing out, trying not to fall down that. Which is not as far of a fall when I'm bigger, but I would still rather not like to hit my head. But purposefully breathing in and out, being at peace, calming the mind, centering the mind, calming the body, and being in the present moment. Not thinking about the past, not thinking about the future, just being. The means are different, but the end's the same. For those of you, like me, who find it difficult to sit very still for extended periods of time, for whatever reason, medical reason, your brain's too fidgety, your body's too fidgety, you don't have a place that you can dedicate to sit, cut down by axes. There's a different kind of meditation, which I prefer, is walking meditation, and that's just it. You're just walking. And if you have a path, a forest like this, it's really good. I mean, got the birds, the bees, what's not to like? But how this relates to community defense, I want to show you in a couple of different examples. So I'm going to cut the video here because I'm going to be chopping in various things. So this little ravine behind me, ravine, runoff, ditch, might not seem like much, but it is a natural, defensible position. Right behind you, you've got the trail that I was walking on, and this sits at a good perpendicular to it. It goes uphill slightly, but you still have a good line of sight going in either direction. Walking through the woods, walking through your area, you're going to be discovering, learning, and much more familiar with terrain features like this than someone looking at on a map. Sometimes even geological, topographical maps might not have this kind of feature shown. But if you want to defend and protect your community, need a place to run, need a place to hide, or know where people can be running and hiding to, you might see something like this and get familiar with it walking along the way. Let's keep going. I'm not a Zen master, clearly, nor would I ever claim to be. Anyone who claims those things of me, do so at your own peril. I'm not even a formal, what I would say, a formal student of meditation or yoga or any of those things. But it is a tool that I found useful. And of all tools that I find useful, I add it to my collection. I want to learn how to use it. And then those skills I want to share with other people in case they find this tool useful and they can apply that use to their particular circumstance. That's the whole point of it. Trying to avoid a lovely couple walking. This bridge wasn't here when I grew up. We had to cross when the river was low. Anyway. Thich Nhat Hanh is a monk, was a monk. He passed relatively recently. I had the pleasure of hearing him speak some years ago, and I cried with the compassion and the love in his heart that he had for the whole world. But he talks about walking meditation as one of his practices, that slow, deliberate steps. You are mindful of your breathing. You're mindful of the air that you breathe in, your lungs filling. You're mindful of the footsteps you take, where you place your feet, how you balance your body. And there is a whole formal Zen walking meditation practice, and I'm not talking about that. This is just walking meditation writ large. You're mindful of the sounds around you. Ooh, titmouse. So cute. Bye. Sorry. But you hear the sounds of the forest, and you don't focus on any particular one. You let the songs of the birds come and go as they will. Oh, so cute. Bird's so cute. And I see the shadow of the vulture. Where are you? There you are. You're huge. There's a vulture right above. It's in the sun, so I'm not gonna shine the camera up at it. Looks like the trail's very crowded today. I'm gonna cut this off here. This little trail that I'm walking up now isn't marked, and it is not as obvious as a very clear, maintained, dedicated trail. But when you spend enough time walking, you spend enough time being out in the world, moving through it, being a part of it, you'll see differences, things like that. You'll see where the leaves have been disturbed, where the dust has been disturbed. And was it, one or two people sneaking through? Was it just deer walking through? Maybe a bobcat or a coyote, depending on what part of the world you live in. And this isn't to say that you become an expert tracker, but this does show the importance of getting familiar with your surroundings. And in community defense, you need to know what's going on around you. You need to be aware of the situation. You also need to be aware of how you are impacting the environment as you walk through it. You need to, dare I say, be mindful of it. Let's keep going. That deer trail led to this. Clearly, somebody's camp. Now, first off, don't litter. Please clean up after yourself. It leaves traces that you've come through, which makes it easier for you to track, but also it's bad for the environment, and that's rude. Anyway, this little flat, sheltered area here is clearly somebody's camp. Now, are these teenagers just coming to hang out? Are these unhoused folks finding a moment, a place that they can be quiet and be secure? Are these, political activists, anarchists, or are they just teenagers being cool. Hard to say. But unless you knew that there was a deer trail there, or could at least see it, then you would never have found that camp. So learn your surroundings. Take walks, not just for the purpose of centering yourself, but doing reconnaissance. That's the only appropriate word for it. Is you are learning the lessons that your area is trying to teach you. You are not learning its secrets because they're all out in the open, but you are learning the way the land moves, the way the plants move, the way the animals move, the way the animals will change their behavior when you come around. And you will also find things like that. Visually out of line of sight unless you are up on the top of the ravine looking in. Perfect, quiet, concealed place. Runs perpendicular to the trail that runs that way, the one that we walked in on. This snakes through but hits perpendicular to it. And if you know where that turnoff is, you follow it up here, you've got this camp. For example. Camps like that can serve all kinds of purposes. Even if it's not homeless, unhoused folks, or dissidents. Maybe it's just disaffected heathen teenagers looking for a place to fuck, do drugs, and meet their god. They're important too. And if you know that sites like that, and you can learn the people that, if you know sites like that and can learn the people that visit them, you can become a useful part of their community. And you would never have discovered that if you didn't just go out for a walk. It's funny, this trellis wasn't here when I was a young kid growing up, and I had to fly these in by helicopters, and now a tree has come over it. Hang on one second. What's up? What's up? Another good reason to walk is you get to see who else is walking. I thought I saw four-wheeler tracks, and it's no fair. I want to be able to ride in the freaking forest on my motorized machine. But yeah, you're not the only people out here. So getting out and walking will let you know who else haunts these woods. I'll awkwardly shove this in here. Another thing I did forget about walking meditation, especially in parks, places like the woods right here, is that you want to be careful and knowledgeable of hunting season. You can see how I'm dressed. During hunting season, you want to be as visible as possible. If at all possible, stay out of those areas so that you don't inadvertently become a target. If you must walk through, because you don't have any choice or any other place, if you must walk through places that have hunting seasons and you're walking through there during hunting season, you want to wear something that's bright orange, bright yellow, bright green, something that'll make you stand out as much as possible and say, hey, I'm not edible. Crazy humans shooting things for fun. So just a little nugget to shove right in there. You should meditate. But you should meditate for its own sake, whether walking, standing, sitting, noodling in the garden, riding your motorcycle, which is the best way to do it, in my opinion. But you should meditate. And you should not meditate for making yourself a better person. You should not meditate for finding God or enlightenment. But you should do it to quiet your mind, quiet your body, and help you be in the present moment. And the more you can do that, the more you can simply be in the present and experience the world just as it is. No pretense, no dwelling on the past, thinking of the future, but just being in the present moment. The better service you can be for others. Oh, yowling Yelling children, sorry. But the better service you can be for others. So that's why my recommendation is you should meditate some way, as much as you can, as often as you can. It's like riding a bike or doing martial arts. It's a practice, and the more you can get into that practice, the more you can do the motions, as it were, the easier it will be for you to get into it. The easier it will be for you to get into that state of being and of showing love and being present. The easier it is for you to get into that, the easier it is for you to maintain that in all situations. I really chewed up this trail, jerks. The easier it is for you to maintain that, no matter what your situation is. And as that relates to community defense, when bad things happen, when you are needed, when you're needed to serve and defend your community, whether a big storm came through, whether there was civil unrest, whether the armed militias came and terrorized your community in some way. When you are called to help, or you see a need to help, being able to be in the present, being able to react from a state of presence will let you help and serve things just as they are, without bringing that baggage of the past with you, without this unhoused person was really shitty to me, or these people didn't speak English, or that guy was drunk and hit my car, or that guy's dog shits in my yard, or that guy feeds the cats that kill the birds in my yard, whatever, without bringing any of that baggage with you, but also without carrying baggage you have yet to get from the future, things that you have imagined. If I help them, will they become dependent on me? If I give them money, will they think me a target for scams or violence later? If I teach them how to shoot, will they target me later? If I wash the car, will it rain? None of these things have happened yet. They might not. They haven't happened yet. You are not responding to the thing that is happening now. Right now, you are in the present moment. You are presence, and you are called to help. That's why you should meditate, to stay as much as possible in presence, as Mooji would say, to be presence. So that, especially walking meditation, that when you walk, you breathe in, I have arrived. You breathe out, I'm home, as Thich Nhat Hanh would say. And from that state of presence, then you can be called upon to serve most effectively. That isn't to say that you have not planned for the future. That isn't to say that you have not learned from things that have happened in the past. But you're not hung up on them. You're not carrying them with you. That's most important. That's why you should do it. Hello, spider. Big spider. That's why you should do it. And when I say you should do it as often as you can, as long as you can, I mean that. I forget who said it, but the student went to the Zen master and they said, "You said I should meditate. How long should I meditate for?" "As long as you can." The student said, "The master, I only have time to meditate for 20 minutes. I don't even have time to meditate for 20 minutes. And the master said, then you should definitely meditate for an hour. This is where you hear some sort of gong or chime or other stereotypical sound of enlightenment. Sorry, I'm watching a fat crow up on the trail. It's cute. Thank you for joining me for this walking meditation. And I hope that you can see the connection between your own health, your own well-being, your own inner security, inner peace, and that of community defense writ large, where to be the most effective, to be the most useful for those around you, you have to take care of yourself. You have to. It's a great metaphor that some of you may understand. A dull kitchen knife is most dangerous to the person who uses it. Think about that. So, anyway. Oh, fat crow. Look at that. Look at that fat crow. Well, there's another person coming, so away I go. Thank you for joining me on this walking meditation. I hope you are safe and well fed wherever you are. I wish you mucho, mucho amor. And be kind and be ready.